Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. I am Anin Sofia from Group 7. This morning, we would like to present about the application of electromagnetism in a cell phone. So first of all, what is a cell phone? Cell phone are any portable phone or a wireless communication device that can make or receive calls by sending a signal to a cellular network and can be used without requiring a physical connection to the network. So how does it works? I will explain this part as in general because the further explanation will be explained by Alia later. Cell phones uses a modulated electromagnetic wave to send information to one or more receivers. As we know, the major component of the cell phone system is the cell. This large number of cells feature a wide range of frequencies, allowing thousands of people to use cell phones at once.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day to all of you. I am Karanisa with matrix number A17228, and here is a short history about the cell phones. In December 1947, Douglas H. Ring and W. Ray Young, Bell Labs engineers, had proposed hexagonal cells for mobile phones in vehicles. At this stage, the technology to implement this idea did not exist yet, nor had the frequencies been allocated. But for about 2 decades later, Martin Cooper finally invented the first cell phone in 1973, and it was commercialized to the public after 10 years, which was in 1983. As the time goes by, cell phones had gone through a lot of improvements in terms of its shape, technology, and the function, which will be further discussed in the evolvement part later. In 1973, the first call from a handheld device was made with a phone shaped like a brick that weighed about 2.4 pounds. Martin Cooper, an executive at Motorola, picked up the large device that only worked for 30 minutes of chatting after a 10-hour of charge, and called Dr. Joel Angel, an engineer at their rival company. The reason why Cooper invented the first cell phone was because he wanted people to have freedom to talk on the phone away from their cars. So, in reaction, he and Motorola embarked on a project to create a more portable device. Motorola spent 3 months building a prototype for a portable mobile handset that Cooper publicly demonstrated in April of 1973. However, according to the insider, the company's first commercial cellular phone, the Dynatec, went on sale 10 years later.
Hi, my name is Alia Binti Azhar with matrix number A174263. I'm going to explain on how the physics of electromagnetism is being applied to the device. So everything from radios to television to radar to mobile phones are based on our manipulation of the electromagnetic field as described by Maxwell's equation. All the laws of electricity and magnetism had gathered together known as Maxwell's equation. You also can use the equation for radio wave, microwave, light, X-ray, and all the other of electromagnetic spectrum. So Maxwell equation also ensure that the transmitter and receiver in your mobile are designed to work efficiently and safely. Between mobiles, the wave travel through air in much the same way as the many electromagnetic waves in space-time, from communication to remote sensing to the latest exploration in the solar system and beyond. So Maxwell's specification on how we see the color light. He developed it to explain how to produce full color image on screen using only red, green, and blue light. Visible light has a very narrow range of wavelength, but this tells us more about the sensitivity of our eyes than about the nature of electromagnetic radiation. Compared to the light, radio waves have very long wavelength, while X-ray and gamma rays have very short wavelengths. So radio waves are used for broadcast radio, television, satellite communication, and also mobile phones. Next is the process of cell phone communication. So cell phone is a device for two-way communication. When you are communicating with a friend over a call, first, your voice is converted into an electrical signal. Sound has an audio frequency and wavelength. Your device takes that audio frequency and match it to the frequency on the electromagnetic spectrum. Then, the encoded frequency can be transmitted from point A to a cell tower via the electromagnetic spectrum. Next, the cell tower receives the signal, then send the signal out to the point B over the electromagnetic spectrum again. Then, your friend's cell phone converts that signal back into audio with their receiver. This sounds like a long and drawn-out process, but however, the reason this process can happen so quickly is because these waves are traveling at the speed of light. Next is the main electromagnetism mathematical formula used in this device, which is Maxwell equation. So there are 4 equations in Maxwell equation. I will go through each one and explain. The first one is Gauss law of magnetism. There are no magnetic monopoles, which is the divergence of B is always 0. As such, there is no sink or source for B. The field lines have no beginning and no end. All magnetic charge is found in a dipole with a north and a south. The second one is Ampere's law. The curl of B is equal to the current density, which is the amount of current per unit volume plus any change in the electric field. The second part is often called the displacement current since it helps with dealing with capacitor. The third one is Gauss law of electricity. This equation, also known as Gauss law, is stating that the divergence of the electric field is equal to the charge density inside of a closed surface of interest, multiplied by a constant. The divergence is how much the electric field spreads out from a given point. If there is more charge inside, the divergence is greater. If it's 0, the divergence is 0. The last one is Faraday's law of induction. So what this equation is saying is that the curl of the electric field is equal to the negative of the change in magnetic field in time. In other words, if the magnetic field isn't changing, electric field lines are straight. If it's changing, the electric field swirls appropriately depending on if the field is increasing or decreasing. A changing magnetic field can induce an electric field, and the negative sign is called Lenz's law.
Hello, my name is Fazlia Hani with matrix number A174699. Now I will explain to you the function of cell phone along with its diagram. Then I will show you on the infographics of its efficiency, and lastly the example of graph plot of cell phone performance. First of all, cell phone is very functional, and by using it will benefit us in many ways such as communication, data storage, entertainment purposes, and for our productivity as well. As we know, communication is very important no matter between parents and child, husband and wife, friends, or anybody in our life. So by using cell phone, it helps us to stay connected with other people no matter how far, and with nowadays technologies, we not only can hear their voice but we are able to see them face to face virtually. Secondly, the perks of using cell phone is convenient for people to save and carry files in the format of picture, text, audio, or even video, as it can be used for storing data up to 1 terabyte. So this way, people can search the desired files within a short period of time, and we won't even have to save the files manually, such as cool waste, as it is time and space consuming. Next, for entertainment purposes, nowadays, especially during this pandemic era, people usually stressing about many things, work, studies, chores, and etc. So cell phone allow users to cheer ourselves up by listening to music, podcasts, streaming to any video or movies during our free time, so that the stress and workload can be bearable. And lastly, by using cell phone, it can ensure us to stay organized, as we can keep on check or update our to-do list, or even set a reminder or alarm, so that we will be very productive and on time during important events and go through each day in our life happily. Okay, so here are the diagrams of cell phone. On the left side is old generation of cell phone, and on your right side is smartphone that almost all of us is using nowadays. We can see that there are some difference between these two pictures, such as there are many new components that has been added into the new smartphone compared to the old one. But the main and important components such as antenna to receive and send signal, microphone, flash IC, audio, speaker, and power bank battery can be seen on both pictures. This indicates that the cell phone are built in with all of these important components in order to function and works properly. Now this is a schematic diagrams of the circuit inside a cell phone. Mainly it consists of power source, diode, all the type of IC components, voltmeter, ammeter, transistor, resistor and many more electronic components. Okay, actually the main issue is, does cell phone assistance really benefit people and be used efficiently? The answer is yes. It is because until today there are more than 2.5 billion users of cell phone globally has been recorded, and from that total, 20 million users are from Malaysian, including both genders. Okay, for this year, for 2021, the number of smartphone users in Malaysia is estimated to reach 31.76 million users. And it has been dominated by men with 57% and the rest of 43% are female users. Youngsters in the range of age 20 until 39 are the most age group that has been using cell phone actively, while there are only 26% of adults in age group of 40 until 60 are using cell phone. The rest of percentage are from age group below 20 and above 60 years old. So there are proof that cell phone is being used by people no matter what age. Okay, now we can see from the research data obtained from the Tech Republic website that has conducted this research on United States. Okay, smartphone has been actively used by Americans, as the researchers prove average of 160 number of times Americans open their phone daily, and the average daily time spent by users on the smartphone is 4 hours and 10 minutes in each day. And there are rough estimation of 2,617 number of smartphone usage collected by the action of swipes, taps and clicks per day. And all these numerical are not a small amount. Indeed, it is a big amount that indicates us the smartphone usage is very high and popular among people. Okay, so our next question is, what were they doing with their smartphones actually that consume them more than 4 hours daily? Okay, as can be seen in the infographics, there are many activities that can be done, but these 5 are the most common activities that people do when using smartphone, which are almost equivalent percentage that both sex using smartphone to use social media, then followed by messaging apps, and the next 3 mainly for entertainment purposes such as listening to music, watching video and mobile gaming. Okay, last but not least, here are examples of graph plots on the performance of cell phone. Okay, as we already know that how electromagnetics is applied in cell phone, as explained by my friend Alia just now. Maxwell equation is being used in order to ensure that the transmitter and receiver design to work efficiently and safely. This both graph showed us the relationship of signal strength received and transmitted by the cell tower relatively to its various distances. Eventually, these both graphs are inversely proportional, which hold through its inverse square law. So we can conclude, as the distance between cell phone and cell tower increases, the quality of signal strength received and transmitted from the cell tower become poor or decreases.
When you start a phone conversation, your voice is recorded by a microphone. A microphone is nothing but a sound converter which converts sound pressure into electrical signal. Once the sound wave of your voice has been transformed into electrical signal, the signal is sampled by a tiny sensor inside the phone called MEM sensor. This sensor basically samples the electrical waves of your voice many times per second and digitizes it. After being transformed into digital signal, it can be easily memorized and eventually sent through the antenna. Next, the antenna transmits the digital signal of your voice in the form of electromagnetic wave. This wave is able to transmit the zeros and ones of the signal by modifying the amplitude, frequency, and period values or even changing their configuration. Finally, the electromagnetic wave containing the information of your voice must be able to reach the receiver's phone. Now, let's take a look at some of the limitations of the cell phones. First, in terms of wave propagation, electromagnetic waves emitted by mobile phones are not able to travel long distance and lose their power whenever their path is deviated by large buildings, electronic devices, or bad weather conditions. However, the problem is no longer significant with the presence of cellular radio towers, which use cellular technology to transmit electromagnetic waves to the right recipients. Secondly, data breach. It's very easy for hackers to hack and access our mobile phones, and hence users are more exposed to privacy and data breach. The third limitation is less real. We already know that one of the benefits of using a cell phone is that it makes connecting and communication between people from different places easy. But nowadays, even with someone close, we tend to communicate through this device too, and we will somehow eventually forget how communicating with other people feels like and lose the sense of talking to a human normally.
Moving to the next part, which is the advantages and disadvantages of the cell phones. So let's start with the advantages first. Cell phones allow its users to enjoy a wide range of communication alternatives. Even if a person moves around while using the phone, the conversation will maintain without interference. Next, with cell phones, information can be transferred in an easier and faster way via text messaging, emails, and also internet. So any telecommunication gadget has proven to make communication easier with anyone wherever they are at any time. But since electromagnetic radiation occur due to the electromagnetic wave produced by the cell phone, some EMR rays will occur. So the electromagnetic radiation from the cell phone affects the biotic system such as animals and plants. Study has found that EMR can cause fertility problems, behavioral changes, and also allergies to the animals. There's also a study about the effect of cell phone EMR on growth and synthetically changes in plants conducted by the Department of Physics and Department of Biology in the College of Science Islamic University at Gaza. So this research has concluded that this radiation may cause many changes in the growth and weight of plants, thickness level of the stem, and others. In addition, the electromagnetic radiation from the cell phone can cause serious health problems such as fatigue, dizziness, memory loss, hearing problems, sleep disturbance, tension, headache, and also visual disruptions.
It can be said that the society in which we live evolves in a dramatic way, influencing our lives at every step. And a major impact in this evolution is the mobile phone. According to the study conducted by D-Scout, it seems that a regular user touches his phone an average of 2,617 times each day, and on average in a year, he spends about 800 hours buttoning. Thus, from a simple design to a smart one, mobile phones have become essential in our lives. We use them for all kinds of things, from calls, messages, to watching movies or communicating on social networks. Right now, I think many of you are watching this clip from a cell phone. So let's see how mobile phones have evolved over time and what functions and applications the first models had. The first portable cell phone was the Motorola Dynatac 8000X. launched in 1983 for $4,000. It weighed over a kilogram, and the battery charge time was over 10 hours, its autonomy being only 30 minutes. In 1989, another phone launched by Motorola was the Dynatac with the 9800X model, which had a folding keyboard cover, so it was a flip phone. In 1991, GSM launched for the first time in Europe the Orbitel TPU 900 model, a phone preferred by companies because it was not so portable. In 1992, the world's first text message was sent with the message Merry Christmas using the Orbitel TPU 900. Also in the same year, Nokia launched the 1011 model that could be used anywhere in the world thanks to GSM technology. It weighed 500 grams, had a monochrome LCD screen, and had an extendable antenna. Also in 1994, the first phone with games was launched, the Hagenuk MT2000 model. In 1997, the Siemens S10 was launched, the world's first color display phone. It could display only 4 colors: red, green, white, and blue. In 1999, the Nokia 7110 was the first mobile phone to feature WAP, a feature that allowed wireless access to information. The first camera phone was the Sharp J SH04, launched in 2000 in Japan. In 2000, the Sony Ericsson T68i was launched in the Western market, which had an additional accessory for the camera. Other important features launched during this period were video calling, available on Kyocera VP210, GPS navigation on Benephone ESC, MMS on Sony Ericsson T68i, Bluetooth on Ericsson R520M, memory card available on Siemens SL45, and MP3 player on SPH M1000 from Samsung. 3G technology was implemented in 2003 in the UK. In the same year, the front cameras were implemented, for example on the Sony Ericsson Z1010 model, on which video calls could also be made. Also in 2003, augmented reality was available on the Siemens SX1, the ability to connect to a Wi-Fi network on the Calypso C1250i, and waterproof technology on the Casio GZ1 in 2005. Another important step in terms of the evolution of mobile phones is the introduction of the touchscreen. The first touchscreen phone was the LG Prada model, launched in 2007. In 2006, the NFC function was introduced on the Nokia 6131 model, and the wireless charging possibility has been available since 2009 on the Palm Pre. Also in 2008 was launched Android Market, now called Google Play Store. Other innovative features in the field of mobile phones during this period include voice control from Google, facial recognition on the Symbian 3 OS operating system, and the first fingerprint scanning device launched publicly was the Motorola Atrix in 2011. From year to year, the screen sizes of phones have increased more and more, thus improving the user experience. For example, the screen on the iPhone 7 Plus is twice as large as the first iPhone. At the same time, during this period, there is the possibility to make payments with the smartphone through Apple Pay and Android Pay. Also, the first notch phone was Sharp's Aquos S2 in 2017. In 2018, the pop-up selfie camera was introduced and was available for the first time on Vivo Nex. In 2019 in the UK, Everything Everywhere launched the first 5G service in 6 cities, which promises much higher data speeds, thus improving the user experience in terms of video streaming and mobile games. At the same time, Nokia introduced the Penta-lens camera on the Nokia 9 model.
So the conclusion is electromagnetism has created a great revolution in the field of engineering and technological application. It is used in many electrical appliances to generate desired magnetic field. In addition, this caused a great impact on various fields such as communication, medical, industrial, space, and others. Therefore, the usage of electromagnetism is wide and everywhere. We can find enormous practical application of electromagnetism in everyday life, from domestic appliance to research applications. So these applications include a cell phone. So cell phones have brought a whole new age of technology, and they do make life more convenient in terms of communication. However, the side effect of cell phone and the distraction that they are cause many dangerous and unhealthy situations to occur. On top of that, they are also huge threat to the environment. so we are advised to reduce screen time and minimize cell phone usage in our daily life.